September 14, 1996. Highfield Estate, Gloucestershire, 11:42 p.m. Princess Diana's Range Rover disappeared down a private country lane, its headlights swallowed by the English countryside darkness. For 48 hours, the Princess of Wales would vanish from public view, her protection officers dismissed, her schedule mysteriously cleared, her whereabouts unknown to even her closest staff. What happened during those missing 2 days would remain one of the greatest mysteries of Diana's final year, but the few people who knew the truth understood that Diana's secret weekend wasn't about romance or scandal. It was about something far more dangerous to the royal family. She was planning her final act of rebellion, and she needed complete secrecy to pull it off. But what Diana discovered at that country estate would change everything she thought she knew about her own life. The mysterious invitation, September 10, 1996. The anonymous letter. The invitation arrived at Kensington Palace on expensive cream paper with no return address. Diana's private secretary, Paul Burrell, brought it to her attention because of its unusual nature. "Ma'am, this letter is rather intriguing. It's addressed to you personally, but there's no indication of who sent it." Diana opened the envelope carefully. Inside was a handwritten note in elegant script. "Your Royal Highness, there are things about your life, your marriage, and your family that you need to know, things that will shock you, but also liberate you. If you want the complete truth about who you really are and why certain events in your life happened the way they did, come alone to Highfield Estate, Gloucestershire, on September 14th at sunset. Come without protection officers. Come without telling anyone. The truth requires privacy. You will understand everything when you arrive. A friend who knows your real story." Diana read the letter 3 times, her heart racing. In her final year of life, she had become increasingly paranoid about surveillance, increasingly convinced that there were secrets about her life that even she didn't know. "Paul," she said carefully, "clear my schedule for this weekend. Tell everyone I'm taking a private retreat. No visitors, no calls, no interruptions. Ma'am, is everything all right?" "Everything's about to be," Diana replied cryptically. But Diana had no idea that accepting this invitation would lead her into the most dangerous 48 hours of her life, the journey into darkness. September 14, 1996, 6:30 p.m. The drive to truth. Diana left London alone, driving her personal Range Rover without protection officers for the first time in years. She had insisted on complete privacy, telling her security team that she needed space to think about her future. The drive to Gloucestershire took 2 hours through winding country roads. As darkness fell, Diana began to feel uneasy. She was completely alone, heading to meet someone she didn't know, in a place she'd never been. Highfield Estate appeared out of the darkness like something from a Gothic novel, a massive Victorian mansion surrounded by ancient oak trees, its windows glowing with warm light against the black countryside. As Diana parked in the circular driveway, a woman emerged from the front door. She was elderly, perhaps 70, with silver hair and an aristocratic bearing. She walked with the confidence of someone accustomed to authority. "Princess Diana," the woman said with a slight curtsy. "Thank you for coming. My name is Lady Margaret Rothwell. We need to talk." Diana had never heard the name before, but something about the woman seemed familiar. "Lady Rothwell, what is this about? Your letter mentions secrets. Come inside, Your Royal Highness. What I have to show you will take time to explain." As Diana entered the mansion, she noticed that despite its size, it felt empty. No servants, no staff, no other guests, just the two of them in a house that could accommodate 50. "Are we alone here?" Diana asked. "Completely alone. What I'm about to tell you requires absolute privacy." Lady Rothwell led Diana into a vast library lined with leather-bound books and dominated by a massive fireplace. On a large oak table sat several boxes, each marked with dates spanning from 1961 to 1996. "Princess," Lady Rothwell said, "everything you think you know about your life is wrong. Don't miss this shocking revelation." What Lady Rothwell showed Diana first, the first revelation. 9 p.m., the truth about her birth. Lady Rothwell opened the first box, dated 1961, the year of Diana's birth. Inside were medical documents, birth certificates, and photographs. "Princess Diana, do you know why you were really named Diana? After my grandmother, I suppose." "No, you were named after Diana, the Roman goddess of the hunt, the goddess who protected the innocent and punished the guilty. Your parents knew from the moment you were born that you would be a hunter of truth." Diana felt a chill run down her spine. "What do you mean?" Lady Rothwell handed her a medical document. "This is your original birth certificate. Look at the time of birth." Diana read, 11:59 p.m., July 1st, 1961. but my official birthday is July 1st. This says I was born just before midnight. Exactly. You were born in the final minute of July 1st, but your birth was officially recorded as July 1st to align with astrological calculations. The royal family's astrologers wanted to ensure your birth chart would be compatible with Prince Charles's. Diana was stunned. They manipulated my birth records for astrology. They manipulated everything about your life from the moment you were born, your education, your social circle, your interests, even your personality development, all carefully guided to make you the perfect bride for Charles. Lady Rothwell opened another folder. These are records of your childhood tutors. Every one of them was selected and briefed by palace advisors. They weren't just teaching you academic subjects, they were shaping you into Charles's ideal wife. Diana's hands were shaking as she read the documents. This is impossible. You're saying my entire childhood was orchestrated? I'm saying you were groomed from birth to marry Prince Charles, and there's much more. But the next revelation would shatter everything Diana believed about her family. The Spencer deception. 9:30 p.m. The truth about her heritage. Lady Rothwell opened the second box, dated 1975, when Diana was 14 and her parents divorced. Princess, what do you know about why your parents really divorced? My father had affairs. My mother couldn't tolerate it anymore. That's the official story. The truth is more complex. Lady Rothwell pulled out a thick file marked Spencer Family Classified. Your mother, Frances, discovered something about the Spencer family that she couldn't live with. Something so shocking that she chose to leave her children, rather than be part of the deception. Diana leaned forward. What kind of deception? The Spencer family's connection to the royal family goes back much further than anyone knows. Your great-great-grandmother, Charlotte Spencer, was the illegitimate daughter of King Edward VII. The Spencer fortune, the Spencer titles, the Spencer estates, all rewards for keeping that royal bastard secret. Diana felt the room spinning. You're saying I have royal blood. I'm saying the Spencer family has been in the royal family's pocket for over a century. Your father didn't just allow you to marry Charles. He was ordered to arrange it. Lady Rothwell showed Diana a letter dated 1977, written in her father's handwriting. The arrangement has been finalized. Diana will be introduced to Charles at the appropriate time. Her preparation for royal marriage will begin immediately. The Spencer family's debt to the crown will finally be repaid. My own father sold me, Diana whispered. Your father was following orders that went back 4 generations. The Spencer family never had a choice, neither did you, but Lady Rothwell's next revelation would explain everything about Diana's marriage. Lady Rothwell opened the third box, containing documents from 1981, the period of Diana and Charles's courtship and engagement. Princess, do you remember your first meeting with Charles? At Althorpe, when you were just 16. Of course, it was coincidence. Charles was dating my sister Sarah. Nothing about that meeting was coincidence. Lady Rothwell produced a detailed timeline document. Charles's relationship with Sarah was designed to fail. Sarah was instructed to make that disastrous press comment about not marrying Charles, if he were the dustman or the King of England. It was scripted to give Charles a reason to end the relationship and notice you instead. Diana stared at the document in horror. Sarah was part of this. Sarah was promised a substantial financial settlement if she played her role correctly. She received £200,000 after Charles's engagement to you was announced. Lady Rothwell continued. Your shy behavior during your courtship with Charles was also carefully coached. Palace advisors told you exactly how to act, when to blush, when to look down, when to seem overwhelmed by royal attention. Diana remembered the coaching sessions she'd thought were just media training. Even your famous quote about having 3 people in your marriage, you discovered that accidentally. But Charles's affair with Camilla was always part of the plan. What do you mean? Charles was never supposed to stop seeing Camilla. The arrangement was that you would provide heirs and public respectability, while Camilla provided companionship and private comfort. You were never meant to be a real wife. You were meant to be a breeding program. Diana felt sick. Everyone knew except me. Everyone in positions of power knew. Your role was to produce William and Harry, then retreat into charitable work while Charles continued his real relationship with Camilla. You won't believe what Lady Rothwell revealed about Diana's children. The heir conspiracy. 10:30 p.m. The truth about William and Harry. Lady Rothwell opened the fourth box, containing documents from 1982 to 1984, covering William and Harry's births. The succession needed to be secured. The succession needed to be secured because Charles was never intended to be a long-term king. There was always a plan to skip Charles in favor of William. Diana gasped. Skip Charles? But he's the heir. Charles has always been considered unsuitable for kingship by palace advisors. Too emotional, too influenced by Camilla, too interested in personal happiness over duty. The plan was always to use Charles to produce heirs, then find a way to pass the crown directly to William. Lady Rothwell showed Diana a document titled Operation Succession, dated 1983. Phase 1. Secure royal heirs through Charles-Diana marriage. Phase 2. Establish Diana as beloved public figure. Phase 3. Position William as future king while bypassing Charles. Phase 4. Arrange Charles's abdication in favor of William. They were planning to force Charles to abdicate. They were planning to give him no choice. Charles's affair with Camilla, his marital problems, his perceived weaknesses, all of it was being documented to justify removing him from succession. But that would make William king as a child, with Diana as regent until William came of age. You weren't just meant to be the mother of future kings, you were meant to be the power behind the throne. Diana's mind was reeling. So when I became too popular, too independent, you became a threat to the plan. A regent with the people's love and William's loyalty could have more power than the Queen herself. You had to be stopped. But Lady Rothwell's final revelation would explain everything about Diana's final year, the elimination plan. 11 p.m. The final truth. Lady Rothwell opened the last box, containing documents from 1995 to 1996, Diana's final period. It was the beginning of the final phase. What final phase? Your elimination. Not necessarily physical elimination, though that was considered, but your complete removal from public life and influence over your children. Lady Rothwell showed Diana a document titled Operation Clean Slate, dated January 1996. Subject: Princess Diana. Final resolution: status divorced but still influential. Problem: continued public support, threatens planned succession. Solutions: character assassination through media manipulation. 2. Legal removal of parental rights. 3. Forced exile from UK. 4. If necessary, permanent elimination. Diana's blood ran cold. They were planning to take my children away. They were planning to declare you an unfit mother, based on your relationships, your emotional state, and your breach of royal protocols. William and Harry would be raised entirely by the royal family while you would be exiled or eliminated. And if I fought back, then more permanent measures would be taken. Princess, you're in danger. Real danger. That's why I brought you here. Diana looked up at Lady Rothwell with new understanding. Who are you? How do you know all this? Lady Rothwell smiled sadly. I'm Margaret Rothwell, former private secretary to Queen Elizabeth from 1962 to 1995. I've spent 33 years documenting the royal family's secrets, and I've spent the last year trying to figure out how to save your life. The room fell silent as the weight of this revelation sank in. Why are you helping me? Diana whispered. Because I've watched this family destroy too many people in the name of preserving the monarchy. Because you deserve to know the truth, and because someone needs to stop them before they eliminate you entirely. Don't miss this incredible plot twist. What Lady Rothwell's real plan was. The escape plan. Princess, Lady Rothwell said, I didn't bring you here just to tell you the truth. I brought you here to offer you a way out. She pulled out a final folder marked Operation Freedom. I have documented evidence of everything I've told you tonight. Every manipulation, every conspiracy, every plan to control or eliminate you. Enough evidence to destroy the royal family permanently. Diana stared at the folder. What are you suggesting? I'm suggesting you take this evidence and use it as insurance. Let them know that if anything happens to you, anything at all, these documents will be released to every major newspaper in the world. But that would destroy the monarchy. The monarchy as it currently exists, yes, but it might save your life and your children's futures. Lady Rothwell continued. There's more. I've arranged for copies of these documents to be held by lawyers in 3 different countries. If you're harmed, if you die mysteriously, if you disappear, the evidence will be released automatically. Diana felt a mixture of terror and relief. You're giving me the power to protect myself. I'm giving you the truth. What you do with it is your choice. But Lady Rothwell had one more surprise for Diana. The final gift. September 15th, 1996, 12:30 a.m., the secret recording. Princess, there's one more thing you need to know. This entire conversation has been recorded. Diana looked around the room and noticed small recording devices hidden throughout the library. You've been recording us. I've been recording you. Your questions, your reactions, your shock at learning these truths. This recording proves that you learned about these conspiracies from me, not through any illegal activity of your own. Lady Rothwell handed Diana a small device. This contains our entire conversation. It's your insurance policy. If they try to claim you're paranoid or delusional, you have proof that a former palace insider told you these secrets. What do I do now? You go home. You say nothing to anyone. You continue your life normally. But you keep this evidence safe, and you let certain people know that you have it. Which people? Start with your divorce lawyer. Let him know you have insurance against any attempts to harm you or remove your children. The threat alone should be enough to protect you. Diana gathered the documents, her hands shaking. Lady Rothwell, how do I know this isn't some elaborate trap? Because, Princess, if I wanted to harm you, I wouldn't need to bring you to a remote estate and tell you the truth. I would just do nothing, and let the plans already in motion proceed. The logic was undeniable and terrifying. The return journey. September 15th, 1996, 2 a.m. Driving home with dangerous knowledge. Diana left Highfield Estate with boxes of documents, recordings, and evidence that could destroy the British monarchy. The drive back to London was the longest 2 hours of her life. Every set of headlights behind her seemed threatening. Every phone booth she passed made her want to stop and call someone, but who could she trust? As she drove through the early morning darkness, Diana realized that her life had fundamentally changed. She was no longer just a divorced princess trying to rebuild her life. She was a woman in possession of secrets that made her either very powerful or very dead. By the time she reached Kensington Palace, Diana had made her decision. She would use Lady Rothwell's evidence exactly as suggested, as insurance, not as a weapon, but she would also do something Lady Rothwell hadn't suggested. She would leave her own record of everything she'd learned, hidden where only her sons could find it after she was gone. The aftermath. September 16th, 1996, the new Diana. When Diana's staff saw her the next morning, they noticed an immediate change in her demeanor. She seemed more confident, more purposeful, but also more cautious. Diana began making subtle changes to her security arrangements, her legal representation, and her documentation of daily activities. She started keeping detailed records of everyone she met, everywhere she went, everything she planned. To outside observers, it looked like Diana was becoming more organized. To those who knew what to look for, it looked like Diana was preparing for war. Most importantly, Diana began a secret project, documenting everything she'd learned at Highfield Estate in a series of letters to William and Harry, to be opened only after her death. The legacy. August 31st, 1997. The questions that remain. When Princess Diana died in Paris 11 months after her secret weekend, the evidence she'd gathered at Highfield Estate was never found by authorities. Lady Rothwell had vanished without trace. No records of her existence could be found at the palace or anywhere else. But Diana's letters to her sons were discovered, hidden in a secret compartment of her desk at Kensington Palace. The letters contained everything Lady Rothwell had revealed, along with Diana's own investigation notes from the months that followed. William and Harry have never publicly acknowledged these letters, but their subsequent relationships with the royal family, their independence, their criticism of royal treatment of their mother, their eventual stepping back from royal duties, suggest that they learned truths that changed everything for them. The mystery continues. To this day, no one knows who Lady Margaret Rothwell really was, or whether the evidence she showed Diana was genuine. Highfield Estate exists, but has been owned by a trust with anonymous beneficiaries since 1995. What is known is that Diana's behavior changed dramatically after that September weekend. She became more strategic, more careful, and more determined to protect herself and her children from royal manipulation. Whether Lady Rothwell was a guardian angel trying to save Diana, or a sophisticated manipulator playing a deeper game, remains unknown. But one thing is certain: Diana's secret weekend gave her knowledge that made her dangerous to the very family she had married into, and sometimes dangerous knowledge is the most dangerous thing of all. The truth. Diana's secret weekend at Highfield Estate may have been the moment she finally understood the full scope of the forces arrayed against her. Whether the revelations were true or not, they gave her the framework to understand her life as something more than a series of personal failures. They helped her see herself, not as a victim of circumstance, but as a target of deliberate manipulation, and they gave her the tools to fight back. Some weekends change your plans. This weekend changed Diana's understanding of her entire existence. Sometimes the most important journeys are the ones taken alone, into the darkness, in search of truths that others would prefer remained buried.